Clarity of vision is the foundation upon which all success is built. Without clarity, life becomes a random walk, drifting from one thing to another, hoping that someday, somehow, things will just fall into place. But life doesn't work that way. If you don't know exactly where you're going, how will you ever recognize when you arrive? Clarity is the roadmap, the compass, and the guiding light that transforms dreams into achievable goals. Most people never stop to define what they truly want. They live on default, taking whatever comes their way. They follow the opinions of others, chase trends, or allow circumstances to dictate the direction of their lives. But without clarity, energy is scattered, time is wasted, potential is lost. Think of it this way. A magnifying glass can take the rays of the sun, and when focused on a single point, it can ignite a fire. The same sunlight, when scattered, produces no heat, no flame, no power. Your life is no different. If your energy is scattered across dozens of vague wishes, you burn out without creating results. But when you focus it with clarity, you create unstoppable momentum. Clarity begins with asking yourself the right questions. What do I really want in life? What kind of person do I want to become? What kind of lifestyle do I want to live? What legacy do I want to leave behind? Too many people stop at, I want to be successful, or I want to be happy. But those are vague, and vague goals produce vague results. Success to you might mean freedom of time, while to someone else it means financial wealth, and to another it might mean making a difference in people's lives. Until you define it, you'll keep chasing shadows, never truly satisfied. The power of clarity is that it creates direction. Imagine getting into a car with no destination. You may enjoy the ride for a while, but sooner or later, you'll realize you're just wasting fuel and going nowhere. But if you set a clear destination, every turn, every road, every choice becomes purposeful. The same is true in life. Once you set a clear goal, every decision is guided by whether it brings you closer to or further from your vision. Clarity also gives you motivation. When your vision is sharp, you no longer wake up wondering what to do with your day. You wake up with purpose. You wake up knowing why you're working, why you're sacrificing, and why you're enduring challenges. Challenges don't break you when your vision is strong, because you can see beyond the temporary struggle to the ultimate reward. People quit not because they're weak, but because their vision isn't clear enough to remind them why they started. Another truth about clarity is that it attracts resources. Opportunities, people, and even ideas are drawn to someone who knows exactly where they're going. When you speak with clarity, people trust you. They see your conviction. They want to support you because clarity breeds confidence. Imagine two people starting a business. One says, I just want to make some money. The other says, I'm building a company that helps young professionals learn financial independence so they can live debt-free within 5 years. Who do you think investors, partners, and customers will rally behind? The one with clarity. Because clarity is not just about seeing for yourself. It's about helping others see your vision too. But clarity doesn't come by accident. It requires thinking, reflecting, and writing down your goals. There's a special magic in writing things down. The moment you take a vague idea and put it into words on paper, it begins to take shape. It becomes real. A written goal is a contract with yourself, a commitment that reminds you daily of what you're aiming for. If you can't write it clearly, you haven't thought about it deeply enough. Clarity also requires honesty. You must dare to strip away what others expect of you, what society tells you to pursue, and face what you truly want. Many people spend years chasing careers, possessions, or lifestyles that were never theirs to begin with. They inherited them from parents, peers, or culture, only to reach the top of the ladder and realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. That is the danger of unclear vision. True clarity is personal, authentic, and aligned with your deepest values. It is also important to remember that clarity evolves. What you want at 20 may not be what you want at 40. Life experiences growth, and changing priorities shape your vision over time. That is not weakness, that is wisdom. The key is to continuously review and refine your goals so your clarity remains aligned with who you are becoming. The clearer you stay, the more powerful your direction. Finally, clarity removes fear. Much of human anxiety comes from uncertainty, from not knowing what to do, where to go, or who to become. But when your vision is clear, fear shrinks. Instead of being paralyzed by, what if, you are energized by, what next? That shift in mindset changes everything. You stop running in circles and start marching toward your destination, step by step, day by day. So if you want to create extraordinary results, begin here. Define exactly what you want. Be specific. Write it down. See it clearly in your mind. The sharper your vision, the stronger your drive. Life will not hand you your desires on a silver platter, but once your vision is clear, you will be amazed at how the world begins to align in your favor. Clarity is the spark that ignites action, the anchor that holds you steady through storms, and the compass that guides you to your destiny. Without it, you drift. With it, you can achieve anything. Self-discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It is the difference between a life of regret and a life of reward. Every dream, every goal, every ambition you have depends on this one quality. Without discipline, desire fades. Without discipline, talent is wasted. Without discipline, opportunity slips away. You can have the best ideas, the strongest passion, and the highest intelligence, but if you lack self-discipline, you will sabotage your own success before it has a chance to grow. Discipline is doing what must be done when it must be done. Whether you feel like it or not, it is the ability to govern your own actions, to delay gratification, and to remain consistent even when motivation disappears. Motivation is fleeting. It's an emotion. It comes and goes. But discipline is a choice. Discipline says, I will show up today not because I feel inspired, but because I made a commitment. That is where greatness begins. Most people know what they should do. They know they should save money, eat healthy, exercise, study, wake up early, and work toward their goals. But knowledge is useless without discipline. Knowing what to do and not doing it is the same as not knowing at all. Discipline is the force that transforms knowledge into results. It is the tool that turns intentions into reality. The truth is, discipline is not punishment. Too many people see it as restriction, as suffering, as something that robs them of freedom. But the opposite is true. Discipline is the highest form of freedom. Without discipline, you are a slave to your impulses. You eat when you shouldn't, you spend when you can't afford to, you procrastinate when you should be working. Without discipline, your emotions and urges control your life. But with discipline, you take control. You are no longer at the mercy of habits that weaken you. You are free to choose what truly serves your future, not just what feels good in the moment. Discipline is built one choice at a time. It is not something you master overnight. It starts with small victories. Waking up when the alarm rings, finishing the task you promised yourself, saying no to distractions, choosing the harder right instead of the easier wrong. Each small act of discipline strengthens your willpower like a muscle. And just like any muscle, the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Over time, those small disciplines compound into extraordinary results. The successful are not always the most talented, the smartest, or the luckiest. They are often simply the most disciplined. They show up when others quit. They keep going when others take a break. They do the boring work, the repetitive work, the unseen work, long after the excitement has faded. Discipline allows them to stay consistent long enough to see results, while others give up too soon. That is why discipline often looks ordinary in the beginning, but produces extraordinary outcomes in the end. Another truth about self-discipline is that it creates self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your confidence. You prove to yourself that you can be trusted. But every time you break a commitment, you weaken that trust. Discipline is not just about results, it's about identity. It shapes who you believe you are. When you act with discipline, you begin to see yourself as capable, reliable, and strong. That identity then fuels more disciplined actions, creating a cycle of growth and power. Discipline also demands sacrifice, but sacrifice is not loss. It is an investment. When you discipline yourself to save money, you sacrifice immediate pleasure for future security. When you discipline yourself to study, you sacrifice leisure for future opportunity. When you discipline yourself to exercise, you sacrifice comfort for long-term health. Every act of discipline is a trade, something small and temporary for something big and lasting. The undisciplined person chooses the pleasure of now at the cost of the future. The disciplined person chooses the future at the cost of now. And over time, that difference creates entirely different lives. But here is the challenge: discipline is simple, but it is not easy. It requires saying no when everyone else says yes. It requires getting up when you want to stay in bed. It requires working when you feel tired, resisting temptation when you feel weak, and pushing forward when you'd rather stop. That is why so few people live with discipline, and why those who do stand out. The good news is that discipline is not a gift given to a few. It is a skill anyone can develop. You may not control your talents, your background, or your circumstances, but you can control your discipline. And once discipline becomes part of your character, it spreads into every area of your life. The person who disciplines their finances becomes wealthier. The person who disciplines their health becomes stronger. The person who disciplines their time becomes more productive. Discipline is universal. It improves everything it touches. When life tests you, it will not ask how talented you are. It will not ask how lucky you feel. It will test how disciplined you are. Can you keep going when the excitement is gone? Can you stay focused when distractions call? Can you hold to your vision when obstacles rise? Discipline answers those questions for you. It is the foundation that ensures you do not crumble under pressure, but rise above it. In the end, self-discipline is the master key. It unlocks the doors to success, happiness, and fulfillment. Without it, nothing works. With it, everything becomes possible. The disciplined person might not always feel like they're winning in the moment, but over time, they create a life of abundance, achievement, and pride. Self-discipline is not about suffering. It is about choosing a higher standard for yourself, a standard that makes you unstoppable. Continuous learning is one of the greatest secrets to success and fulfillment in life. The moment you stop learning, you stop growing, and when you stop growing, you begin to decline. Life is never still. It is either moving forward or falling backward. Those who embrace learning as a lifelong journey remain relevant, adaptable, and capable of achieving extraordinary things. Those who reject it become trapped, limited, and eventually left behind. Knowledge has always been power, but in today's world, it is more important than ever. Technology changes rapidly, industries evolve, and opportunities shift from one place to another. What worked yesterday may not work tomorrow. The only way to keep up, to stay ahead, and to secure your future is to commit yourself to continuous learning. The people who rise in any field are not always the most gifted at the start, but they are the ones who never stop improving. Learning does not end with school. In fact, for most people, real learning begins after formal education. School gives you basics, but life requires mastery. To excel in your career, your relationships, your finances, or your health, you must keep adding to your knowledge and skills, long after diplomas and degrees are handed out. The world does not reward people for what they once knew. It rewards them for what they know now and how they can apply it. Continuous learning also expands your vision. When you learn new ideas, read new books, meet new people, or expose yourself to new experiences, your mind stretches. You begin to see possibilities you never considered before. A person with limited knowledge lives in a small world, but a person who is constantly learning lives in a limitless one. The difference between an average life and an extraordinary life often lies in the amount of information, wisdom, and perspective you are willing to seek out. One of the most powerful aspects of continuous learning is that it builds adaptability. Change is one of the few certainties in life. Industries collapse, technologies disrupt, economies shift, and personal circumstances evolve. Those who resist change are crushed by it, but those who keep learning find ways to turn change into opportunity. When you commit to learning, you train your mind to adjust, to evolve, and to embrace new ways of thinking. That adaptability becomes one of your greatest assets. Learning also breeds confidence. Ignorance creates fear. When you don't understand something, it intimidates you. But when you study it, learn it, and master it, the fear disappears. Think of someone who is terrified of money because they don't understand it. Once they study finance, budgeting, and investing, suddenly they feel confident making decisions. The same is true in every area of life. The more you learn, the more certain and powerful you feel. Confidence doesn't come from pretending. It comes from preparation, and preparation comes from learning. But continuous learning is not only about knowledge, it is about wisdom. Knowledge is gathering information, but wisdom is applying it. Many people consume books, podcasts, and courses, but their lives never change because they do not apply what they learn. True learning is measured not by what you know, but by what you do differently. Every lesson you learn should reflect in your habits, your actions, and your results. Otherwise, it is just entertainment, not transformation. Continuous learning requires humility. It means admitting that, no matter how much you know, there is always more to discover. The arrogant person says, "I already know enough." The wise person says, "I can always improve." Humility keeps the door open to new ideas, while arrogance shuts it. The moment you think you know it all is the moment you stop growing. And the moment you stop growing is the moment you begin falling behind. Another powerful truth is that learning compounds. Just like money invested grows with interest, knowledge accumulated multiplies over time. Each new skill makes the next one easier to learn. Each new idea connects with others to create innovation. Over years of steady learning, you gain an advantage so great that it seems almost unfair to those who stop learning after school. The person who reads every day for 10 years will be unrecognizable compared to the person who never touched a book after graduation. The sources of learning are endless. Books remain one of the greatest treasures available to us. For the price of a meal, you can access the wisdom of someone's entire life, condensed into pages. Conversations with wise and successful people can teach lessons no classroom ever will. Experiences, both failures and successes, become powerful teachers if you reflect on them. Seminars, mentors, online courses, and even simple observation of life can all provide valuable lessons if you are willing to pay attention. Yet, many people make excuses. They say they don't have time to learn, but the truth is, everyone has time. It's just a matter of priorities. Time spent scrolling, watching meaningless entertainment, or gossiping could be redirected into reading, practicing, or studying. Learning doesn't always require hours of free time. It can be done in small doses day after day. 10 minutes of learning daily adds up to 60 hours a year. That alone can put you far ahead of those who waste that same time. Learning also keeps life exciting. Stagnation creates boredom, but growth creates energy. Every time you learn something new, you light a spark inside yourself. You feel alive. You feel progress. You feel momentum. A stagnant life is a frustrated life, but a learning life is a fulfilling one. Ultimately, continuous learning is not just about getting ahead. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. It sharpens your mind, strengthens your character, and expands your opportunities. It helps you not only earn more, but also live more. More experiences, more wisdom, more impact. The truth is simple: the more you learn, the more you earn, the more you grow, and the more you can give. Life will reward the person who is constantly developing themselves, because the world always needs leaders, problem solvers, and innovators. If you commit to being a lifelong learner, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Taking action is the single most important step in turning dreams into reality. Ideas are powerful, visions are inspiring, and plans are necessary, but without action they remain locked in the mind, unrealized and wasted. The world is full of people with great intentions, big ambitions, and endless dreams, but only a small percentage ever see those dreams fulfilled. The difference lies not in intelligence or talent, but in the willingness to act. Action is the bridge between desire and achievement, between wishing and winning. Most people spend too much time waiting. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect opportunity, the perfect level of confidence. But the perfect time never comes. If you wait until you feel ready, you will be waiting for the rest of your life. The truth is, action creates readiness. Action builds confidence. Action produces momentum. You cannot think your way into success. You must act your way into it. The moment you take the first step, even if it is small and imperfect, the process begins. Action has a power that thought alone never will. You can sit for years imagining writing a book, starting a business, or improving your health. But until you act, until you write the first page, make the first sale, or go for the first run, nothing changes. Dreams do not respond to thought alone. They respond to action. Action is proof that you are serious. It signals to life that you are ready to pay the price and earn the reward. One of the great illusions people believe is that thinking about something is progress. They confuse planning with doing. Planning has its place, but endless planning becomes procrastination in disguise. Too many people use preparation as a way to avoid action. They want certainty before they move. But certainty never comes before action. It comes after. You cannot learn everything from the outside. You learn by doing, by trying, by failing, by adjusting. Action reveals the truth. Action teaches lessons you can never get from books or theories. Fear is the greatest enemy of action. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of looking foolish, fear of wasting time. But here's the reality: inaction is the real failure. The only way to guarantee defeat is to never try. The person who acts and fails is far ahead of the one who never acts at all. Because failure contains lessons, and lessons lead to growth. Every successful person has a history of failures, but they are remembered for their persistence in action, not their hesitation and fear. Action also builds momentum. Momentum is a force that multiplies results. The first step may feel heavy, but once you move, the second step is easier, then the third, and soon you are running. The hardest part of any task is simply starting. Once you start, your energy grows, your motivation rises, and progress fuels more progress. That is why the best advice is often the simplest: just begin. Even the smallest action sets the process in motion. Another truth is that action creates clarity. Many people delay because they want to be certain of the path before they start. But clarity rarely comes before movement. You discover the way by walking it. Opportunities reveal themselves after you act. Doors open once you knock. Action uncovers possibilities that thinking alone cannot. You do not need to see the whole staircase, just the next step. Action is also what separates the dreamers from the doers. Anyone can imagine success. Anyone can talk about their goals. But few are willing to take the steps that are hard, uncomfortable, and demanding. Those who act consistently, regardless of feelings, are the ones who rise to the top. The marketplace rewards execution, not intention. Life rewards progress, not potential. No one pays for what you could have done. They pay for what you actually did. Consistency of action is just as important as intensity. It is not about one massive effort, but about small, repeated efforts over time. Writing 1 page a day creates a book. Saving a little money each week builds wealth. Exercising regularly transforms your health. Action compounded daily becomes unstoppable. The disciplined person who acts consistently will always outpace the genius who only dreams. There is also joy in action. Inaction breeds frustration, stress, and regret. The mind becomes restless when it knows what should be done but sees nothing happening. That inner conflict creates guilt and dissatisfaction. But the moment you act, you feel alive. Action brings energy, satisfaction, and progress. Even small steps give you the feeling of control, of moving forward, of shaping your life instead of being shaped by it. Action also inspires others. People are not moved by what you say, but by what you do. When you take action, you set an example. You show what is possible. Your courage becomes a spark for others to act as well. Leaders are not just thinkers. They are doers. Their actions create belief, not just in themselves, but in everyone watching. The truth is, opportunities do not wait forever. They come and go, and those who act quickly are the ones who seize them. Hesitation often costs more than mistakes. Mistakes can be corrected, but missed chances are gone forever. Action keeps you in the game, while inaction keeps you on the sidelines. At the end of life, people rarely regret the things they did. Even if they failed, they regret the chances they never took, the dreams they never pursued, the actions they never started. Regret is the price of inaction. Satisfaction is the reward of action. So the message is simple: stop waiting, stop doubting, stop hesitating. Begin now with whatever you have, wherever you are. The perfect moment is today. The perfect place is here. The perfect person is you. Once you act, you set in motion a chain of events that can change your life forever. Action is the spark that ignites destiny, the force that turns possibility into reality, and the one thing that guarantees that your future will be greater than your past. Persistence and resilience are the qualities that separate those who achieve greatness from those who give up too soon. Life will not hand you success the first time you try. It will test you, challenge you, and sometimes break you down to see how badly you want what you say you want. Many people start strong, full of excitement and determination, but when obstacles appear, their enthusiasm fades. They quit at the first sign of difficulty. They convince themselves that maybe it wasn't meant to be. But the truth is, success is always meant for those who refuse to quit, who endure the storms, and who keep pushing no matter how hard the journey becomes. Persistence means staying the course even when it's uncomfortable, even when progress is slow, even when the results seem invisible. Every worthwhile goal takes time. The seed planted in the ground does not become a tree overnight. It must be watered, nurtured, and protected through seasons of doubt before it bears fruit. Your dreams are no different. You cannot demand instant results. You must be patient and persistent enough to let the process unfold. Resilience is the twin of persistence. While persistence is about continuing the effort, resilience is about bouncing back when life knocks you down. And life will knock you down, again and again. You will face rejection, failure, criticism, and disappointment. But resilience means you do not stay down. You rise. You adapt. You learn. You become stronger because of the very challenges that tried to break you. Every setback becomes a lesson, and every failure becomes a stepping stone if you refuse to quit. The road to success is paved with obstacles. That is not an accident. It is by design. The obstacles exist to filter out the weak, the uncommitted, the half-hearted. Only those with persistence and resilience make it to the end. And because so few endure, the rewards are extraordinary for those who do. The marketplace, life, and destiny always pay the most to the ones who keep going long after others stopped. Many people believe talent is the most important factor in success. But history proves otherwise. The world is full of talented people who never achieved much because they lacked persistence. Talent is a gift, but persistence is a choice. Persistence makes up for talent that isn't exceptional. Persistence builds skill, creates mastery, and eventually makes the average person unstoppable. The genius who quits will always lose to the ordinary person who never gives up. One of the greatest benefits of persistence is the strength of character it builds. Every time you push through difficulty, you grow tougher. You prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. And the next time adversity comes, you are stronger, wiser, and better prepared. This cycle of persistence and resilience transforms you into a person who cannot be broken. Success then becomes inevitable, not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. Resilience also changes the way you see failure. Instead of seeing it as an end, you begin to see it as feedback. You realize failure is not permanent, it is temporary. It is a teacher, pointing out what doesn't work so you can discover what does. Every failure contains the seed of a future victory, but only if you stay in the game long enough to plant it. Those who quit miss the lesson. Those who persist gain wisdom, and that wisdom eventually leads them to success. Persistence requires faith. Faith in yourself, faith in your vision, and faith in the process. There will be days when nothing seems to be working, when the results are invisible, when doubt whispers in your ear that you should quit. In those moments, persistence means holding on to your belief, even when evidence hasn't yet appeared. It means trusting that your consistent effort will eventually bring results, even if today's harvest is empty. Resilience requires courage. The courage to face criticism, rejection, and disappointment without losing heart. Not everyone will believe in your dream. Some will laugh, some will doubt, some will even hope you fail. But resilience means you don't let their voices drown out your own. You keep going not for them, but for yourself. You keep fighting because the dream inside you is worth every setback, every scar, and every sacrifice. Another truth about persistence is that it compounds over time. Each day you stay committed, you build momentum. Each day you resist the urge to quit, you move closer to the finish line. Persistence does not guarantee immediate success, but it guarantees eventual success. Because the person who never stops cannot be defeated. They can only be delayed. Resilience, too, has a ripple effect. When people see you rise after falling, when they watch you endure hardship without giving up, you inspire them. Your resilience becomes a light for others who are struggling in their own battles. You become proof that it is possible to keep going, proof that the human spirit can endure more than it ever imagined. At the end of the day, persistence and resilience are not just about achieving goals. They are about becoming the kind of person who is unshakable. Life will never be free of challenges, but if you cultivate persistence, no challenge can stop you. If you cultivate resilience, no setback can break you. You become unstoppable not because the road is smooth, but because you refuse to stop walking it. The greatest victories in history, in business, in personal life, were achieved not by those who never failed, but by those who failed many times and never gave up. Your dream will test you. It will ask, how badly do you want this? And your answer must be persistence. Your circumstances will push you down and whisper, stay there. And your answer must be resilience. The formula is simple: refuse to quit, refuse to break, refuse to give in. Keep moving forward one step at a time. As long as you persist and as long as you rise after every fall, success is not a matter of if, it is only a matter of when. The environment you place yourself in and the relationships you surround yourself with have more influence on your success and happiness than most people realize. No matter how strong, disciplined, or talented you are, if you remain in the wrong environment, your potential will be suppressed. Likewise, if you surround yourself with the wrong people, your energy will be drained, your vision will be clouded, and your progress will be slowed. Success is not just an individual journey, it is also a collective one. The company you keep and the spaces you live in shape who you become. Human beings are deeply influenced by their surroundings. If you place a healthy plant in toxic soil, it will wither no matter how much potential it has. The same principle applies to people. You cannot expect to thrive in an environment filled with negativity, distractions, or mediocrity. Your environment is either helping you grow or holding you back. Every day, the influences around you are shaping your thoughts, habits, and actions, whether you are aware of it or not. That is why one of the greatest keys to success is intentionally choosing an environment that supports your goals. The people you spend time with are a major part of that environment. If you are surrounded by those who complain, who gossip, who make excuses, and who never aim for more, you will eventually lower your own standards to fit in. It happens subtly, not overnight, but little by little. Their attitudes rub off on you, and soon you find yourself thinking and behaving the same way. On the other hand, if you spend time with people who are ambitious, disciplined, and positive, their energy lifts you. Their standards challenge you to rise higher. Their habits influence you to adopt better ones. That is why it is often said that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. The right relationships not only inspire you but also hold you accountable. When you are alone, it is easy to make excuses, to justify your laziness, or to convince yourself that quitting is acceptable. But when you are connected to people who expect more from you, who believe in you, and who won't let you settle for less, you find strength to keep going. Accountability is a powerful force. Just knowing someone is watching, supporting, and expecting your best can push you to deliver more than you would on your own. Beyond people, your physical environment also matters. The spaces where you live, work, and spend your time affect your focus and energy. A cluttered, chaotic environment breeds distraction and stress. A clean, organized, and inspiring environment promotes clarity and motivation. Small changes, like removing distractions from your workspace, surrounding yourself with positive reminders, or creating routines that signal productivity, can drastically improve your performance. Your environment should serve as a silent partner in your success, constantly nudging you in the direction of your goals. Another important aspect of environment is culture. The culture of your workplace, your community, or even your family can either nurture growth or stifle it. If you are in a culture that punishes ambition, mocks improvement, or discourages risk, your spirit will shrink. But if you are in a culture that celebrates progress, encourages innovation, and rewards effort, your confidence and creativity will flourish. Sometimes, the most powerful move you can make for your future is to step out of a toxic culture and place yourself in one that supports who you want to become. The relationships you build also extend to mentors and role models. Having people ahead of you, those who have achieved what you want, gives you guidance and perspective. A mentor can save you years of wasted effort by sharing lessons they learned through experience. Role models can inspire you by showing what is possible. Without these influences, you may settle for less simply because you don't know what more looks like. The right relationships expand your vision by exposing you to higher levels of possibility. But relationships are not only about receiving, they are also about giving. The more you invest in others, the stronger your network becomes. People naturally support those who support them. Building genuine connections, helping others, and being trustworthy create bonds that last. In times of struggle, these relationships become lifelines. In times of opportunity, they become doors that open. Success rarely comes in isolation. It comes through collaboration, through the goodwill of others, and through the strength of your connections. One of the greatest mistakes people make is underestimating the cost of negative relationships. Toxic people drain your energy, plant seeds of doubt, and often sabotage your progress, sometimes without even realizing it. Protecting your energy requires the courage to distance yourself from those who constantly pull you down. That does not mean abandoning everyone who struggles. It means recognizing the difference between those who want to grow with you and those who refuse to grow at all. Surround yourself with people committed to rising, and together, you will all climb higher. Your environment and relationships are not just external factors. They shape your internal mindset. They influence how you think about success, how you respond to challenges, and how you view yourself. If you are constantly around negativity, you will begin to think negative thoughts. If you are constantly around excellence, you will begin to demand excellence from yourself. This is why it is so crucial to choose carefully. Every conversation, every interaction, every atmosphere leaves an imprint on your mind. Over time, those imprints create patterns, and those patterns create your future. In the end, no one succeeds completely alone. Every great achievement has behind it a network of support, encouragement, and influence. To build the life you desire, you must intentionally design both your environment and your relationships. Create spaces that inspire productivity, surround yourself with people who challenge and uplift you, and distance yourself from influences that drain your spirit. When you do this, success becomes far more natural, because you are no longer fighting against your environment, you are being carried by it. The truth is, you will rise or fall to the level of the people and places you choose. Choose carefully, choose wisely, because when you place yourself in the right environment and nurture the right relationships, your growth becomes inevitable, your potential becomes limitless, and your journey toward success becomes not just possible, but unstoppable.